Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. And with me is Sam West. Today, we're going to be talking about the spell Banishing Smite. All right. This is another Smite spell. In your written review, you weren't too harsh on this one. It's a 5th level spell, correct?
Yep.
And it does a 4th level effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does worse than a 4th level effect, but it comes with damage. So that's nice.
All right. Well, give me your initial thoughts.
Okay, so Banishing Smite is a hard spell to evaluate because it's a spell that really is excellent whenever you have a perfect knowledge. If you are at a metagaming table, if you know how much HP every single monster has, if you know your average results, what you're typically rolling on dice, this spell becomes a lot more usable than it does if you're just throwing it out, high fantasy adventuring, trying to kill shit. This is a spell that, when used to its tactically best advantage, can be just a no-save banishment effect, which is very, very good, right? If this is the kind of spell that it doesn't ask you to do anything but hit. So long as you hit, if you can get it within a threshold, it's gone forever. They don't get a save. They're not gone forever. It's gone for a minute. They don't get a save. They get none of that other garbage, right? It's just gone. It works. If you can get it under 50 HP, you're golden. My problems with it therein lie then, if you don't get that, this is just the same damage as Divine Smite, right? Upcasting a Divine Smite here, you get the 5th level spell slot, doing 68 radiant damage, an average of 27. This is doing 5d10 force damage, which is an average of 27.5. So, like, really splitting hairs as far as which one's better damage. You're going to get a higher highs and lower lows here than you do with the Divine Smite, better averages and stuff. It's more or less moot. More or less, this is doing the same damage. This has the nice upside of it can banish target forever, but it has the downside of constant your concentration. This is where things get messy and complicated, and you have to ask, at 17th level, is this that good? And the answer is it can be. It's just most of the time not. And finding ways to make it good often is going to require more research ahead of time into what the DM is doing, which is going to feel really scummy at a lot of tables. They're going to be a lot of groups that don't like the idea of you knowing the monster manual stats for everything in the upper CRs that you're looking to consider banishing, because this is really only good if you are dropping something to right about 50 HP and then it's going away. If it's ever going below like 25, you're probably better off leaving it on the material plan and just killing it. And if it's ever over 50, this spell is no text. So that's where you get this really awkward kind of, it's really good in a very niche instance. That niche instance cares a lot about numbers and cares a lot about how much knowledge you have.
I'm not sure if it is really good in that niche instance because of what you just said. I mean, all right, this is an exclusive paladin spell.
Yes.
Which a paladin gets a 17th level.
Sure.
All right, what is the average damage a player of any class is doing at 17th level?
Oh, that is a literally impossible to answer question because of the sheer quantity of things you can do in this silly little role-playing game. But let's take an easy greatsword paladin build, right? Let's say you didn't take any feats, you're a bog standard vanilla paladin, you have a +5 in strength because you're that tier of the game. So you're doing let's say you got a greatsword because it's the best weapon in the game. 2d6 plus 5 is going to give us a nice clean and easy 12, plus the 27 is going to give us 39-ish damage is how much this is dealing. That means for a 5th level spell, if you're dealing with something that has roughly 90 to 100 hit points, this probably just deletes the creature. You hit it, creature's gone. 100 damage for a 5th level spell slot is pretty good. And that is what you're basically getting here. The fact that it doesn't really cost you anything because it's only a bonus action means you can pretty conceivably, if you know what its max HP is and know where your average damages are at, can remove those creatures. And if you consider the banishment to be a bonus 50 damage, which functions as most times when the thing comes back, everyone just kills it immediately. That's pretty decent. This is a way to save actions in a class that doesn't often get those tools. Granted, this is concentration, so the fight can't be that long for this to be good. But in the niche case where you're fighting like 3 hill giants, for example, let's say you're on your way to the boss, you're fighting 3 hill giants, and for some reason you want to use one of your 5th level spells on one of those 3 hill giants, this pretty regularly will just delete it. This pretty regularly will be just like one of those 3, I hit it once, it's gone. And then you have your extra attacks to other things, you have other resources to use to make the fight easier. This can trivialize a lot of fights that are built around several hundred hit point-ish creatures. It's not going to be every fight. It's not going to be a lot of fights. And that's where the spell gets middlingly worse. It's nice that this has the floor of always being at least 5 to 10 damage. You're never really losing a spell slot on it, because even if they are above it, you're still just divine smiting for a 5th level slot. And if you didn't care about your concentration anyway, there's no reason not to prepare this. But if you do care about your concentration, that's where it gets quite a bit worse.
I just don't feel like by the time your party is 17th level, if you get the creature down to 50 hit points,
your rogue would kill it in 1 hit. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't feel like worth blowing a 5th level spot, especially for a half caster.
Yeah, this is one of your big finale features. Again, the reason I think I'm so high on it is because it is so cheap action economy wise. This is just going to be your bonus action.
Yeah.
And that really won't interfere with your gate. A lot of the times when you're playing upper tier paladins, you are burning 5th level spell slots on Divine Smite just because it's a shitload of damage. Because being able to go in with 12d8 damage plus 46 plus 10 is going to kill some things. And that's what you're doing, right? Like your paladins are often here to do a whole lot of burst damage up front, especially with games that aren't running back to back encounters.
Mm-hmm.
This will just be a big Nova E feature that can go alongside those builds. Now, unfortunately, a lot of those Nova E builds where you are trying to do a lot of damage to Paladin are going to be caring about your concentration. You're going to be caring about having things up that give you more damage. And this doesn't work with those at all. This is functionally relevant with that. And there will be times where you're in the upper tier Paladin and you get nicked by a stray arrow, drop concentration, the Hill Giant comes back with 50 hit points, and you functionally just use Divine Smite. But again, functionally just using Divine Smite is a very high floor. That's why I think the spell has any redeeming quality whatsoever. And in the instances where you banish something for 3 rounds and then kill everything else, then it comes back, it's functionally an execute. And it's not the worst thing ever. It's fine.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say about it. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll say this.
All right.
This is, if you are playing the super powerful, everyone knows the monster manual stats, everyone hears the Gambit before, everyone is, doing the Munchkin-y stuff, this probably doesn't even have a place in your sheet because it eats your concentration, which leaves this spell in this no man's land of who is actually this good on, and it's on the scummy feeling players that did the research, that went in to learn all the monsters and has the feels bad of, oh, DM, actually, you're wrong, this should be banished because I did enough damage and I know what its average HP should be. And that is so unbelievably scummy and shitty that so many people will be immediately turned off to it. There'll be some tables where that's perfectly fine. There'll be some tables that'll be like, yep, everything's rules is written, feel free to research and do all the things you like, number crunching stuff. That's just so few places. That's just not the vast majority of the ways people play Dungeons and Dragons. And it leaves the spell being like, who is this actually good on then? And the answer is probably no one. The answer is this is probably a spell that you can take for feeling like it doesn't really cost you anything. Sometimes you'll get lucky and banish something for 4 rounds, and that'll be decent. That'll be genuinely pretty good. And the rest of the time, it's just going to be Divine Smite. And that's a very high floor. So,
yeah, just that 50 hit point thing. It's got the same feel to me as your takes on gold cost for spells.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like an almost arbitrary thing that I don't know, that at this level feels always bad.
Yeah.
Like with the gold cost, it's really table dependent, but this one, it's not. It's just crap.
It definitely lands you in a spot where you don't even ever really want to use this on a big bad either. Because if you're dropping a big bad below 50, that's where everyone's shooting anyway, right? Yeah. That's 100% where everyone's damage is pointed. This is something you put on a lieutenant. This is something you put on mid-sized CR5-ish monster in the upper tiers. Do you want your big capstone spells to be facing off against the hill giants of the big bad fight when you're fighting against storm giants? Probably not. But that's what it's good at. So yeah. I'll say I think this is probably a 2 out of 5 in that it eats your concentration and isn't better than Divine Smite really. It has some use cases that you're not going to hate it for. This isn't uncastable. It's just not that exciting or super duper interesting, but can have a powerful enough effect that you're not going to hate using it.
All right. You seemed a little bit more into it than I am, but I was also going to give it a 2 out of 5 because you convinced me that it's not completely unusable. But yeah, all right, we're agreed. 2 out of 5. I thought you were going to go a little higher, but
nah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Banishing Smite. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for watching and listening. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Wait, Bob, redo the ending. You cut out, so you should re-record the ending.
All
just
right.
the very last, well, that was Banishing Smite.
All right.
Thank you for listening. The outro.
Okay, that was Banishing Smite. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And thank you, Sam, for your valuable insight. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.